Good day everyone, my name is Teacher Angelo S. Pontonella, and for today's discussion, I will be tackling about assessment. So what is assessment? So assessment for learning is best described as a process by which assessment information is used by teachers to adjust their teaching strategies and by students to adjust their learning strategies. So assessment also is a powerful process that can either optimize or inhibit learning depending on how it is applied. So planned and communicated. Assessment for learning should be built into a teacher's planning as part of everyday classroom practice. So learning goals, teaching strategies, and assessment criteria should be carefully matched. Students should know in advance what they will learn as well as how and why they are to be assessed. Teachers' plans should be flexible so that they can make changes in response to new information, opportunities, or insights. The planning needs to include strategies to check students' understanding of the goals they are pursuing and the criteria that will be applied in assessing their work. So the work of the student. So how students will receive feedback, how will they take part in assessing their learning, and how they will be helped to make further progress should also be planned. So a teacher's planning should provide opportunities for both students and teachers to obtain information about progress towards learning goals and use it to a direct learning process. What was assess the teacher's behavior in regards to planning, execution, and monitoring of the lesson? So why should we discuss about assessment? So educators express a frustration related to their ability to analyze and synthesize the data. So assessment in education is the process of gathering, interpreting, recording, and using information about pupils' responses to an educational task that is according to Harlan, Gibbs, Broadfoot, Nuttall, year 1992. So there are two types of a assessment. First is the formative assessment, next is the summative assessment. So what is a formative assessment? Formative assessment is a process used by teachers and students and during instruction that provides feedback to adjust ongoing teaching and learning to help students improve their achievement of intended instructional outcomes. So formative assessment usually happens before or within or after the discussion within a classroom setting. Meanwhile, summative assessment, a tool used after instruction to measure student achievement, which provides evidence of student competence or program effectiveness. So the summative assessment usually happens at the end of the semester, at the end of the grading period. So for example, final examination, midterm examination, or the grading examination. Comparison of assessment. So formative assessment occurs during instruction. So not graded, process, descriptive feedback, and continuous. So during the discussion of the teacher, the students if the teachers want to assess the learning of the students, the teacher will freely ask question. By this, he or she will know if the students learned something about the topic that is being discussed in the classroom for today's discussion. Next is summative. So it occurs at the end of the grading period, semester or the final exam. So graded, it is a product, feedback, and periodic. So, for possible assessment methods. Formative assessment includes questions. So, within the classroom setting, the students will be able to ask questions to their teachers if they have something to be if they are confused about their lesson. Meanwhile, the teachers can ask questions to their students to assess their understanding or learnings in a certain topic. So, classroom discussion. So, in a classroom setting, the teacher as well as the students are free to exchange ideas and information. Learning activities. So, there are many learning activities that can be done within the discussion period. So, feedback. So, as a teacher, it is your responsibility to give feedback to your student, and that feedback will serve as their guide to improve themselves. So, conferences, interviews, student self-assessment. Meanwhile, the summative assessment, it is a selected response. So, multiple choice, true or false, matching, fill in, or extended written responses, performance assessment. So, this summative assessment is usually a written exam. Next is the formative and summative assessment are interconnected. They seldom stand alone in construction or effort. So, as a teacher, you have to know when or where to use a summative or formative assessment. So, it is our responsibility to assess our students so that we will be able to give them a quality education, or so that we will know what is their weakness as well as their strength. So, that is assessment, and the two kinds of assessment, which are the formative and summative assessment.